Hello, welcome to the Hooded Lid and welcome to my channel. Today I'm taking inspiration from Lisa Eldridge. I was so inspired by her watercolor blush that I wanted to give it a go for myself. Lisa was commissioned to create the look for Ava Green's character in Dumbo, which was a period piece I think set in the 20s, and she showed that on her channel. Then she brought in a model and showed another version of that, and then she did another version, much toned down, on herself, and I think it's lovely. I am a blush girl. I love blush, which is kind of odd when you think about it because I have so much pink in my skin and so much red in my face, but I like to take everything down and put the blush where I want it to be. That's what we're going to do here today, and we're going to be using a lot of it. So I'm going to try to take the same steps that she did, and she started with a light pink, kind of acting as a transition on her cheeks. So I have CHANECAILLE here. This is a very neutral pink. It doesn't have blue, it doesn't have yellow or orange, there's no coral to it. And I'm just going to take an e.l.f. brush. I have a towel here, I'm dabbing stuff off to avoid over application of anything and everything. Maybe bring a little bit up to the eye. Now I'm going to take a neutral. This is a SURRATT. I actually use this color as a bronzer, but in the eye socket today to work on giving me a little bit of depth. And now I'm going to follow that up with a little bit of peach. I'll be using the NARS WALNUT palette, this color right here, and I might engage with this one. We'll see how it goes. And take it to the outside a little bit and up to the brow bone. They're very subtle colors, but I don't want them to be on top of each other. There should be a gradation. I finally said gradation. Yeehaw, I keep on saying graduation. One of the things I like about this is it's so fluid. It's not like doing a cut crease or a halo or, you know, just a lot of the things that we see on YouTube. Now I'm going to go in with a nudish tone. This is a Charlotte Tilbury and a Wayne Goss. Swirling on the outside. And do the entire cheek. I'm going to do a little bit of a contour with a darker, more neutral color. This is Bobbi Brown Pink Sand. And I'm going to take it into my temple right here. Lisa didn't contour, but I thought I'd have a little fun. And she has a much thinner face than I do. And it's a soft touch. It's not like doing an ashy contour. And that would be a great color to contour in the eyes, so I'm going to go ahead and do that as well. Oh, the joys of getting older when your lids get a little crepey, and blending out is truly a challenge. I'm not complaining. I'm just stating the facts as they are. I'm going to dip this in some loose powder just to blend that out a little bit better. You really don't want rough edges with this kind of look especially. This is a look you should take the time with, I think. Now I think it's time to go for some deeper shades. Let's try a coral. I'll take that coral I pointed out earlier from the NARS, and I'm going to put it in the middle. So kind of underneath the outside of my eye. And always better to go on lightly and add layers. It's so hard to come back from too much blush. At the same time, with this look, I've tried this look before, and I felt at the end it just all blended in, and it kind of did that on her as well, but the look is to see the movement from pinks to peaches in this case, and I'm going to try to establish that by working the powder in well in the area that I'm placing it, but not working everything in well. We'll see how that works. Now for a little bright pink, Bobbi Brown Peony. I always say Peony. It must have something to do with where you're from. This color appears to be very bright, but for the longest time, this was my blush. I just used it with a very light hand. So light that I would dip it in on one day, and then the next day I would use whatever was left on my brush from the day previous. That's how light I would use it. But it's such a youthful, lively color, I think. And Lisa used a shade that had a little bit of shimmer in it up at the top of her cheekbones, and it acted a little bit like a highlighter as well. So I'm going into this Smashbox and grabbing this shade at the end. Just a little bit of glow is coming from that. I think that might be enough because there's so much going on the cheek. Not too much, but I think it's fine. I'm going to go back into the SURRATT color and put that on my lids. I feel like you want the lid to be pretty soft with this look. So no liner, but we do want color. And I'm going back to the peachy color from the NARS palette, the lighter one, and layer that back onto the lid as well. I'll take that again and go in the brow bone. And really blend that grapefruit color. It needs it. And go into the Laura Mercier translucent powder and blend again. Part of the idea of watercolor is there are no lines, I suppose is the right word, that everything kind of melts into one another, like watercolors do. You know, they bleed on paper a little bit, so there's no stopping for a plane. And I want this color out here a little bit so it can be seen. I'm going to go in with this bluish blush by Hourglass. This is Ethereal Light in their Ambient Light blushes, and put that on a fairly large blender brush and hit the outer brow and above the brow. And I'm going to hit the cheekbones with that as well, the same place where I went in with the Smashbox, just to get a little more of a radiance, but it's not necessarily a highlighted effect that I'm going for. Ooh, let's do a little down the nose. And again, I'm going to take a little Laura Mercier powder and blend out the individual areas, but I'm going to try not to blend them together. The Wayne Goss is the softest brush that I have. Well, I have this Trish McAvoy as well, which I think might be Sable, but it's bigger and more dense and more difficult to control. So there's the pink color. I don't think I did a color up here aside from the first color that I did, which is the, who knows? Who knows? So I am going to take another pink. I'm going to take this middle pink from the Smashbox. And take some off of my hand because I'm nearing the end and I don't want to get to Crazy Town right at the end. And I'll bring it up the side of the face a little bit. And maybe just a little bit around the hairline. I'm just kind of going by what I'm seeing on the teeny little LED screen. So before I take my final pass, my final look, I want to do something for the lip. Now Lisa had a lip that was really beautiful. It was a little pinkish, but not baby pink. Doesn't have a lot of white in it, but it wasn't a bright pink. And it had a bit of a gloss to it. I don't own a lot of glosses. I don't find them to be very comfortable. We're going to go with this one. I've already lined my lips. So I've already lined my lips. I put on a little bit of lipstick, but I don't feel like this is quite the color that she had. So I'm going to dip my finger into the Peony. But before I do that, I'm going to put on a little balm, which will help emulsify the powder in that blush and make a new color, or adjust the color I have. Wipe that finger clean. You don't want to get that emollient in there. In fact, I'm going to use a different finger altogether. And each time I dip in, a different finger. I've only got 2 more and I can't do it with my thumb. There, that might be about the right area. It's not specifically, it's not exactly what she did, but I think it might be a reasonable rendition for my skin tone. When I re-watched this watercolor video that she did a few weeks ago, I thought, aha, that lip is very likely one of the lipsticks in her new Summer Pinks collection that just came out about 2 weeks ago. And I'm thinking that might be the one called Go Lightly. But I can't remember. The pink one. She has one that's a corally, salmony pink, and one that's a rose pink. And that's the one I think she might have been wearing. I think that's it. I think I accomplished what I wanted to. You can't necessarily see pink to orange to pink, but the overall look is quite flush, and I think it's sweet. I think it's great for spring, and you could take it out for a roll in the summer as well. Let me know what you think. Did I go too far? Should I have done more pinks? I'm kind of digging it. So that concludes my little experiment. I want to thank Lisa Eldridge for inspiring me. She inspires me a lot. I think she inspires all of us a lot. And I want to thank you for coming. I hope you had a little fun. I hope you might have learned something, and I hope you come back. In the meantime, I'm wishing you a great day.